Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What is good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
We got a special guest. This dude is in town. Philly's finest.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite editors, producers.
He's my favorite.
I mean, he's made so much shit. He's actually one of the few producers and editors who has made bootleg remixes who actually got released as official remixes.
Yep.
And it's crazy. We have to talk to this dude. He's been in the game a long time, and I've been using his edits for maybe over 15 years.
Easy.
If you see his name on, the record pool, you got it down.
Yeah, it's usually like, because we'll see, like, we'll be on the record pool and we'll see like a bunch of songs remixed by blah 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 blah. His is usually the first that I download.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even like listen to it sometimes. I'm just like, all right,
Just gotta
I know
have
that
it.
shit's gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying? We got DJ Scooter in the building. What up, man?
Yo, what up?
What up,
Thanks for having me, yo.
Yeah.
It's an honor. Big fans of you guys too as well. So it's mutual respect across the board. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I always see you, like, we'll go back and forth on Twitter, we'll talk, and you'll have opinions on episodes and shit.
It's usually after a couple drinks coming home and like some shit I've been like sitting on. I probably shouldn't tweet. I tweet it at like 3 a.m. and the next morning be like,
delete.
yeah.
Select all delete. Yeah.
I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, there's this one homie this might apply to. I probably shouldn't have tweeted that.
Anyway, what are you doing here in Vegas?
So there's a conference called, it used to be called Mobile Beat, and now it's called Mobile. Actually, it's MEX, but it's like Mobile Entertainment Expo. It actually looks like that. It doesn't look like it's spelled. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But they used an X instead of like phonetically spelling out.
So it's like a convention for mobile DJs, like
I
wedding DJs, like
I went to the
event
mobile,
DJs,
corporate
right?
DJs.
Yeah, corporate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of photo booths too. It's actually like new tech. So it's like a DJ and like tech industry.
Is it like lighting also?
Yeah,
That kind of stuff.
and like new shit that's not out, and they also have like the new controllers that like aren't out for Pioneer. Like Pioneer has a booth there, so and like it's cool, like for sure. Like it's not like, it's probably a lot of people, like there's people here that you would know for sure, like from the club scene, but there's also people that like me. I dive into both. So like, but there's people here that you probably never even heard of. But
Are you here for the show? But you're here for a gig, right?
No, I'm playing the closing party tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, they have me headlining that.
But if you didn't have a gig, you wouldn't have gone to the show, or you would have gone to the show regardless. No.
nah.
It's his face.
No, like, well, no, like,
Pay me to be here.
bro, it's like a bit. There's a lot of shit going on in the next couple weeks for me. So I probably would have been like, maybe, yeah, for sure. Like, I like networking and that shit, but it's like,
But you're not like a mobile D. That's not your main shit, though,
No.
right?
But like in the last 2 years, like I've really leaned into doing roughly like 20-ish, like, but super like high end weddings, and like I focused myself on that because like I discovered by accident. I did a demo at a conference, and a couple like wedding planners were there, and they like saw me play, and they were like, "We don't have somebody did what you just did in my market, and we're already having this much money factored into my clients' budgets that it costs more than my freaking house. Like we would love to have you." And I did one, and then like, it's like DJs. Like the higher you go up in the chain in any industry, like it shrinks. So like, it was like, well, I saw Katie's post, and like their videographer was the best this and blah blah blah. And so like they all started talking, and it's like. And then the next year,
so there's like a wedding DJ tier.
It blew my mind because like locally, like people hire their wedding planner day of,
right?
You know, they don't control shit other than like don't fuck up the timeline, you know. But like in that realm, which I am still learning some of how that works. It's like, we have this much money here, wedding planner. We're hiring you first. We want a wedding that looks this dope with the flowers need to look like this, DJ or band. Well, we're comfortable spending this much, like make it happen. And like, that's new to me because it's dope.
Okay. So let me get an idea for this, right? Because I'm actually I don't know much about the wedding DJ scene.
It's not what you think it is. Like, it's not. I've always DJ weddings like a DJ club, but just adapted the format. But now like every fucking bride and groom like don't want the corny shit anyway. Like they go out and they're like,
No. I respect it. To me, it's like, I think it's really actually, there's an art to it.
Yeah.
And then I think it takes a few years to like master
Yeah.
like the procedures and everything.
Yeah, and I
then
think that's
after
the
a while,
biggest
you
part
know.
for us as guys who are only club dudes is
Yeah.
because like we'll get on the mic, but like, you know, if we're if you're at a wedding and you don't like aren't used to doing it, and like you just like you go to a wedding and you just like drop an F-bomb and like
And you
that
got
might
the,
blow
you got
up.
the bride's mother.
Yeah,
You got kids.
like-
You got kids there.
Yeah, like you just accidentally are used to saying like put your fucking hands up and like, you know, I don't know, like you're playing Billie Jean or some shit and like
No, but like usually the DJ has to also host the reception a little
Right.
bit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They
yeah.
have to like
So,
call
yeah.
up the father for the speech for the
Yeah.
first dance.
Yeah, and
The
that's
best man.
Yeah,
and
best
it's
man
weird. Like
speech.
most of us, like we play clubs with like thousands of people or hundreds of people, and like we're unaffected by that. But you put us in that setting, and I know guys that like are could probably DJ circles around me, and but like they clam up and they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even want to talk. They'll hire like I'm hiring a host.
Yeah. No, I
It's just
I
like
agree.
weird. Like until you get used to that, like
Yeah, there's an art to it. Like,
Yeah.
Once you have like the game plan lined out and you know exactly what to say and like,
Yeah.
you know how it all works. Like, yeah, I can
It's
imagine.
stressful though. Like to be real with you, like those weddings, because I feel like there's doing a wedding. It's the one time you can't fuck it up. There's no redos. Like if you mispronounce mom's name, like you just
Yeah.
feel like an asshole all night. You're like,
People have been some of these people have been planning this their whole life. They've
yeah.
been
And
imagining
so like
this.
there's an immense pressure that I never feel doing biggest club in the world like than I would feel when I do that. Like it's a different type of anxiety, and like
Right.
that's hard to deal with. Like some people are like, nah, bro, like.
It's also a different level of like when you fuck up, you just
Yeah.
ruin someone's whole shit. Like, so I can imagine their responses.
Yeah,
totally
because it's
insane.
like, yo, like we're paying this dude how much money? Like, and
All right, so give me the rundown. So, like, what is the lowest paying? I'm imagining in my head. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Lowest paying amount for a wedding DJ, right?
in any market.
In any market. Well,
Yeah.
I want to also talk about other things too because I feel like
Yeah, I didn't mean to get on that subject. It's just
no. But I'm curious about it.
Yeah, me-
So, like the wedding DJ market, right? Would it be like what? What do you think? Like 2,000 would be the cheapest, right?
I'm gonna go 3,500 for me.
Really? I think maybe
No, I
15.
think it depends on budget.
Yeah.
It depends on. And
I would say 2,000. Like around 2,000 would be the
1,500,
lowest
2,000.
budget.
Yeah.
From what
'Cause I
it
feel
sounds
like-
like, I'm going off of what he was talking about. 35. I'm gonna go. With
But you got to
35.
also include, do you have to bring your equipment?
You
Or do
always
they
have to bring
provide- or do they
equipment.
provide equipment? Sometimes,
I feel like you have to have everything.
I mean,
you have to have lights.
yeah.
$2,000.
you need more than, it's going to cost more than that then, if you got to bring all that equipment.
But then I mean, and then you go through the tiers, and I feel like it's based on race, right? You got to hit. it is race.
I don't know about that, man.
I think it is race.
I think it depends on more.
You don't
on
think it's about race?
I don't think it's about race.
More
I think
it
financial
has to be
status.
about race.
More financial status than race, maybe.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm saying that like you have to know how to like. All right, if it's a black wedding or Korean wedding,
Right.
You have to specifically know what to play for.
Oh,
that
100%.
race.
Yes. Yes.
So that I
Yes.
feel like these gigs are based on race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought the race of the.
That's a
DJ.
good point.
No.
That's a good,
Like-
that's a good point.
Like
because
I've been to like an African wedding. I had an African and a Mexican wedding, and the DJ was a white dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't give a fuck about
Either.
any of their roots or anything or
Selena.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And he was just playing whatever he wanted.
He was doing
And
his shit.
The shit was ugly. It was
No, I
bad.
got a
It
good
was
example.
fucking bad.
Well,
So-
the family was mad?
back
Of
in
course, yeah, we furious. They
Yeah,
were
bro.
fucking. They were yelling, and I remember before I went to that
no.
reception.
Like
Before I went to this wedding, my boy was getting married. He didn't ask me because he wanted me to hang out.
Yeah.
And I remember the person I went with, I was like, should I bring my laptop just in case?
Whoa!
Right?
Ready to save the day.
And then she was like, no, like don't bring it. Just enjoy
no,
yourself.
yeah. We don't want you working. Yeah.
And then I just said, no, I think I should bring it because I had a conversation with that guy and he had no game plan whatsoever.
Right.
And then she was like, no, don't do it. And I said, it's going to be really bad. And then I was like, you know what? It is. So I'm going to actually.
So what you did?
So I was like, you know what? I actually want to see what happens, you know? And it was really bad. It was like him, like he was getting yelled at by both families.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
like,
I did one wedding like
felt
that.
bad.
No.
Half Greek, half it was Jewish. Half Greek, half Jewish, and it was a long time ago. And it was still CD era, so like halfway through the reception, like every song I played was pissing half off and making the other half super happy. So like the Greek people would be like, come up and be like, you played this track 3, and it was like a CD I've never even heard of. I can't even read They're like 3, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, and I'm beat mixing into a song I never heard of into like then their side of the request, and it's like it's like all night. I'm like never doing that shit again ever in my life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need.
But it's
like
not,
a Greek DJ who can play the Greek anthems.
I have done like specific
then,
weddings where they hired a MC that specialized in their language. I've done a few of those, which helps me because there's if I take the talking off of it, it's just DJ, bro. Like, and like he could speak both English and the language.
See, it's so culturally culturally based.
It is, it is in some ways because like if you get in a niche for like a certain cultural like thing, you could kill that if you get in a certain community and they all have the same tier of like wealth. But that's not I've done every ethnicity, like gay, straight, bi, like you know.
I mean, gay wedding has to be the best.
Yeah, because
that's got to be the best.
Yeah, they're just like they want to dance like immediately. Like
that's got to be the best.
Yeah, bro. It's like they're like judgment free. It's like a Planet Fitness. Like you it's really hard to mess those up.
Planet Fitness,
judgment free zone. They're just like,
but no, there's so many things that are in the play. I think age is a big variable too, because you have like obviously you have kids, then you have like the bride and groom, then you have their parents and grandparents. So you want to kind of appease to everybody in the process, you know what I mean?
So wait, hold on, Cricket, did you jump on at that wedding or no?
Nah, I just
let them burn. You know,
you were just at the bar like whiskey sodas.
You could have been the savior.
I was like this, yo, look at this.
You could have been the savior.
I'm like, yo, and I'm like, yo, the grandmother.
Could you have saved it though?
I could have, yeah.
And you knew the bride.
You just watched the house burn.
So they were like, Joe was just like, play anything, play Afro beats, and he's like, okay, and he played some like
soca.
He played Usher, yeah.
No, he played like some.
He played reggae.
He played some weird acid jazz.
Oh wow!
Like thing, and it was a lot of remixes. Like he had What's My Fantasy over like some
like jazzmatazz,
like
shit?
jazz.
Remember Us Three? Remember that jazz?
I was thinking that. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah.
Like it was like some like the Diggable Planets hip hop jazz.
Yeah.
So he was playing What's My Fantasy over some hip hop jazz remix.
And instead of Luda, it was like a horn, like.
And you saw the family; they're just trying to have fun with it, like, and it was just awful. And I was just like, it was bad. I was laughing.
But it's also the family fault because they should have given him a list of songs.
But the thing
to
is,
play.
Yeah, because my
get a better idea.
my boy was the guy getting married.
Yeah,
he had one job, right, and it was to take care of the DJ.
Yeah,
and you had wanted to save it.
I mean, she put together the wedding. It was in Puerto Rico. It was like elaborate.
Yeah.
She's like, just to make sure the music is good. Here's the list. He didn't do none of that shit. He just cared about the liquor. Right?
So wait, where did he find this DJ?
It was one of his bartender homies. He's like, yo, man, you want to DJ? And I think he wanted me to DJ, but he was too embarrassed to ask me.
Yeah.
But I would have done it for him.
Of course.
But I was just like, yo, let me see what happens here.
Oh my god!
So it was just really.
I kind of wish you would have brought your laptop. You could have said.
I mean, I remember like I've only done maybe 6 weddings in my whole life. And I've done 20, over 20.
I've done over 20.
Yeah, have you ever done?
No, yearly I do like 20 to 30.
Oh, you do 20 to 30 a year?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Nah, bro. I know some wedding DJs that do fucking like 200 weddings.
No, but so there's some people here that are like
20 to 30 a year?
Yeah, but I'm picky with it. Like
that doesn't sound picky. That sounds
you could easily do like 50, 60 if you wanted to.
No, yeah, but like I'm
20 or 30 is wait, sorry to cut you.
That's 20, like max 30 is like
it's like 2 to 3 a month.
Yeah, that's every other week. Yeah, but that's a lot.
So what happened post pandemic with that was like everyone thought it would be a cool fucking idea to have 2020 on an invite. It looks good. It's balanced like 2020.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down. So what happened was like everyone that was like could have gotten married in 19 that were like, no, like it's going to look cute with the invite to have 2020. When the world shut down, like all these venues shut down too. So like the year when stuff started coming back was like loaded. Like I'm like, man, like I get calls like last minute, like, can you do a wedding on a Sunday, on a Thursday? Like there was some weddings I was like, yeah. Like,
so this business, this wedding kind of, this new venture or these new opportunities for wedding gigs started just coming up recently.
No, like I've always done weddings, but it's been picky. It's always been someone I knew for the most part.
So before, all right, pre-pandemic, how many were you doing a year?
Well, I already started getting into like the higher tier space, like with the. So
I love this. I love this. He's like on a higher tier. So
no.
So I'm imagining.
Saying, no, what I'm saying, like, no. The only thing.
What was the movie with Jennifer Lopez where she was the wedding planner? The wedding planner.
The wedding planner.
So wait, she was the top. She was the top wedding planner chick, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing like those Jennifer Lopez weddings.
So here's the thing, like,
you say yes or no. Yes.
I only say top tier because the budgets are higher. That's what makes it different.
So when you're doing a top tier, right?
Well, yeah, more expensive. Let's just say that.
I would say
I don't feel top tier sounds douchey. Like
no, I love that.
Yeah, I love the top tier.
Be a douche. Be a douche.
No, bro, like
be fulfilling for a bit.
Wait, Scooter. So you're top tier.
The top tier, John. That's very fair.
Top tier, John. Okay. Yeah. No, I like that. You're doing Jennifer Lopez wedding planner style weddings, right?
Right.
At that tier, you don't have to worry about the equipment, right?
No, but you're factoring in because most of those are all destinations. So like, you have to factor in your price. Like you got to. The thing about it is a new challenge. Like I got to contact people in those markets that have this specific DJ booth, these specific turntables I use, or the lights. Because the planner, this planner already has a vision. Coming from the bride and groom, and if it needs the DJ booth needs to look like this. If not, we'll figure it out, and we got to find one.
And you have a wardrobe. You have to wear this color suit.
No.
A tuxedo.
No, you just. I don't even wear a tie no more. It's like an open button shirt, and I wear J's because that's
cool.
Yeah. So just it's like fly shit. Like you look the part.
What's your minimum? What's your minimum?
For the top tier.
We could bleep it out.
I'll bleep it out.
Tell us.
Like for this following year, it starts at.
Nice.
What the fuck are we doing over here?
And you're doing 20 of those a year.
Like that's high end. Like high end, like numbers wise, that's a lot because I got to fit in between all the club gigs, production time. Like,
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it.
Yeah, we in the wrong business,
like
man.
You are.
Fuck the nightclub shit.
Yeah, like.
Never. If you were a wedding DJ, you'd be fucking somebody's. You'd be fucking one of the bridesmaids.
You'd be the wedding crasher,
you'd
not
be
the wedding planner.
fucking shit up. You know you would.
But like like regular shit, like back home or like in like city, like regular people's like us that have regular jobs and shit. Like they're not spending like house money on their wedding. So like, it's mom or dad's paying for it, and like they're regular people. So that the range you're looking at for standard weddings and sometimes is like significantly less than that if you're choosing to.
Right.
Do you have a minimum?
For what?
You just said it.
For a wedding.
You just said it.
Oh.
Yeah, for that type of stuff, yeah. Like, I'm honestly not. I'm at the point where it's like I have to put the same amount of effort into doing any of the weddings. So like Zoom calls and whatever, which I like doing.
It's a lot of prep.
So like, why not just focus all my attention in doing a certain a certain level? So it's like that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like I love doing. If it's someone I know, I'm like, yes, I'll hook you up. Like, I know you really want me. Like, we've been friends or like you used to bartend at the spot. Like, I did play that. Like,
so at this tier, right? At this top tier you have, I'm sure you're probably meticulous with the information you need and everything. So you have already like pre-written PDFs you send to them, and you're like,
I have a sheet.
Give me your
and it's like on it. It's like simple shit, just like a timeline. It's like artists you love, artists you hate. Because here's another thing that I discovered on my own like fruition is like sometimes these people are getting remarried. So what if like you're running a Nicki Minaj song and like that was their song from their fucking wedding, and you're like super bass is like sensitive to somebody, and like they're like turn around like
that was very specific for Nicki Minaj.
That
because I had one time the one time I had like they wanted like they were like no Bruno Mars, and that's weird, and then it was like capital like absolutely no Nicki Minaj, and I was like something happened there. There's a story behind.
It's like she walked in into her bedroom and he was smashing her sister.
And
24 Karat was playing in the background.
And I was like, who doesn't like Bruno Mars? Like, I was
on the floor.
Yeah, I was like,
Leave the Door Open was playing.
Yeah. But the one time so when I on Zoom, I'll be like, hey, so I'm gonna send you the sheets, 2 pages, easy, just fill it out, like basic shit, genres you like, genres you don't like, specific songs or artists you do not like. And recently, a bride was like, yes, please do not play this song. And I think it was a popular artist. I forget who it was, but she was like, that was my wedding song to my last marriage. So like, please never play that tonight, like or my wedding. because that would be awkward as fuck for her.
Right.
Like, and then if he knows that, or there's friends overlap, like your sister probably came to both, so like it'd be awkward as fuck.
It's so crazy because music is so personal and it just affects our history so much. Like,
especially at a wedding. At a wedding,
at a wedding,
like, but you remember, like in the car in like high school, like I guarantee you, if like the fucking number 6 on the CD comes on, you'd be like, "Yo, do you remember that one fucking night, bro? Like we did some shit." Like, and you like boom instantly on that night because of like that Snoop Dogg record or whatever. Like,
and it's crazy because in a nightclub environment, which we're used to, right? We're so used to just telling people to fuck off, right?
Yeah. And that's not realistic at a wedding.
Right, at a wedding, you have to do the complete opposite. You have to be empathetic to every fucking situation.
Yeah. And that's it actually kind of helps me with like the club stuff too, because like sometimes like there's nights when you just like tell the bouncer, like tell everybody go fuck off. Like I don't want to talk to them. Like or it's like you could just tell people are sloppy. Like I don't care. Like go fuck off. Like I don't want to talk to people. But it kind of helps you like refocus and not be like, yo, can't be a total dick all the time. Like,
these people saved up their money for a year to come to Vegas, and they're here right now with me. And for me, it's a regular night. For them, it's like
it's a big deal.
Yeah, some people like never been to Vegas, or like, or
a lot of times just the one time that they've probably seen all their family in God knows how long too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And some people like the first time ever, they've all been in the same room ever, like their whole lives, like. We visited the cousins sometime in New York.
Yeah.
These people live in Nevada, like whatever. And it's like, this is the first time we've all been together.
And then some of them are just entitled assholes who just come here all the time, but just want it their way. So it's hard to differentiate between these people.
They just want to drink, get drunk.
Yeah.
What do you call it? No. It's really interesting to me. So like, I got another question. I hate that we're on this.
I feel like I'm not, I'm like, I feel like I'm not, I feel like I shouldn't be speaking on this because I'm still.
No, but you've been doing
navigating
it for, how long have you been doing it for?
Like the weddings with higher budgets?
Just weddings in general.
Oh, since like I was 14. Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, that's what I'm saying.
But I'll tell you what, when I was doing weddings at 14, I bought metal poles from Home Depot that screwed into each other.
Yeah.
Like heavy as shit. And that was like my lighting.
Your lighting truss?
Truss.
Yeah.
Like, and I was using like duct tape and shit. Like, I was buying like Spencer's lights. Like, I didn't know. I was 14. Like,
wait, who's the person that decided to hire a 14-year-old wedding DJ? Because if my fiance said, my cousin Scooter could do it. How old is he? 14? I'd be like, there's no fucking way I'm letting a 14-year-old.
I was doing birthday. I don't know if I was doing weddings, but I was doing like, it was soon after that. I probably had to be maybe at the oldest, I was 17.
So you were destroying these birthday parties so hard. A parent was like, I want them at my wedding. Is that what happened?
You was probably doing high school dances also, right?
No, that's where I cut my teeth. Like I was like near graduation, and I started doing like other schools in the area. And then after I graduated, I like for like 5-6 years, I literally had like every school district in like 100 miles on lock. And then it became too much. Because I started doing like shitty dive bars when I was too young to even get in them at local. And then I was like doing that shit too. So it was like, I was learning both sides, like still carrying crates of records. Like I had a Radio Shack mixer, one belt-driven turntable. So when it was like Newmark, you hit it, it was like I was still like figuring shit out. So.
Yeah, and you were getting paid.
Yeah, and at that time, like I remember when I first DJing, I was the one summer I flipped burgers at like an amusement park. I was selling cell phones. I was a manager at Hollister for 2 summers, like, and I was like young. And at the time, it's like you get to work with attractive chicks your age. Like it was a good deal. But then I was also DJing, and then like slowly, like I started posting my edits on free DJ forums and shit, and like that kind of took off. And I was like, okay, I only have to work 2 jobs now and DJ. Now I'm gonna work 1. Like I was. So
were you creating these edits as tools for?
I was just posting ideas, like because I was like working at a radio station, and like I was just like, man, I hear like mix show DJs on our station or like other stations, and I was like, where'd they get that version? And at the time, I didn't know, like they were using probably like Funky Mix and Ultimix stuff, which I didn't even know what that was. I was like, This is a different version.
And that wasn't really sold on the East Coast like that at all.
Well, it was just like there was no online resource to know. Like you couldn't like Google it then. Like I heard a remix and I was like, oh man, they had this cool little part in it. Like and now it's corny some of that shit now, but it's like I was like,
I mean, back then it was like a mega mix. It was like insane. It was
but like they had some cool shit. Like and I was like, yo, like they put this like Luda thing over this little part in between the break, and I was like, and I wanted to make it. So my parents had a Windows 95 computer. And had a program for free on every single one called Windows Wave Editor. And it was single track. And what I would do is just like copy an audio file, paste it, and then I would like take a loop and find the exact spot on the waveform and click mix paste. So it was just like over top, and then like preview it. And if it like slowly went off beat, I just like would undo it, take the loop and like stretch it manually on the CD player, re-record it in. And dude, that was my baby steps of like learning how to edit. Like,
I think it's crazy. I think you're the first producer that I've met that started with wanting to edit. Does that make sense? Like your intentions to actually start producing was to make edits. It was kind of interesting, right?
Well, I was like really into DJing too, but like I didn't have a mentor to like, and I was just like so fascinated by the fact that like I was just creative like my whole life. Like I was big into art, and I almost went to college for art and then switched to music. So I was just like a creative person in general. Like I used to paint and draw all the time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I was just like, that's cool. Like that, like they flipped that Luda thing, like whatever it was. And I was like, I want to know like how to do that. Cause like, I was just like, my mind was like thinking of its own ideas way back then.
So when you were doing production, when you first started, it wasn't like, oh, I want to make beats. You're just like, I want to make these different versions of shit pretty much.
Because like I was like, going out and I was like, oh man, if I could have a cool version of like whatever was popping at the time, like that would differentiate me from like other people. Wow. Like, and it was like a conscious decision. Like I didn't even know, like there was no, you know, MIDI shit back then. It was like still like I was recording shit in manually, like, you know what I mean, with like shitty DJ equipment. I remember the one edit, I swear to God, I did 50 fucking takes to just put like a drum loop over a song. And it was like record, and if it didn't work, I'd hit stop. Like, fuck, like it was, and nobody taught. I didn't have anybody teach me.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it's the same thing. I remember the Gemini 24-second sampler.
Yeah.
You remember that joint?
Yeah.
I remember I would make beats with that, and like I would loop a drum, record it on a tape deck, have another tape deck playing, and then record like me manually looping the sample over the drum.
Yeah.
Take that tape. And keep layering the tapes. So I would be like going through like maybe 12 tapes.
Right.
But in the end result, you'd hear like drums, bass line, sample, horns.
It's like the old Beatles, like four tracks. Like there's so much bleed.
I used to echo out like, you know, like the Pete Rock horns that like they would echo out like. I would just do that manually, like bringing
and pull the fader down.
Pull the fader down, you know? And so like, and you study kind of like 8 bars. You study like what are 4 bars, 8 bars, and then usually.
But I didn't know
bars,
any. I didn't know like the timing of that shit. I just figured it out. And then when I got my internship at the radio station at 18, right out of high school, I went to a community college right down the street from the radio station, and I just walked in there one day like, I want to like fucking learn. Like I'm interested. I remember calling in to try to win tickets one week, and the next week they hired me as an intern, and I figured out like how radio actually works, and it like changed me forever because they like did a studio tour, and they like had me like, here, this is how they wanted me to like be on the radio and like sell, I mean like go to promo events. I was doing all that, and then they put me on the radio, and they're like, you need to learn how to edit like commercials in your voice. And they first put me on Cool Edit Pro in the studio, and this one dude who was old as fuck at this rock station just like threw me on. It was like, figure it out, like, but it was multi-track. I was so used to like single track, I didn't even know like what multi-track was. Like, and I was, you can stack shit like Tetris, and like, I was like, my mind was blown. So like they couldn't get me out of that. Anytime the production studio was open, I was in there like diddling around like with whatever free loops and shit they had. Like that's kind of how like I started learning. And like now like you two go on YouTube and learn anything, like learn how to change your car oil. Like I literally laid a sidewalk with my parents off YouTube, like cement. I don't know shit about cement, but if I had that resource then, I probably would be like, way ahead. I would have saved 10 years of my life.
All these kids are way ahead. They're making beats like.
But that also brings a sense of entitlement too, because everyone they want to cut the line on what we do because it's easy to like just jump in and look like you're doing the same shit we've been doing, and that's the biggest issue is like people just like, I want to be Tiesto, I want to be Marshmello, like, so they're just like, they can learn it, and like it's very hard for people who are booking us like from private events to clubs to like differentiate, because like this dude looks just like you, like he's got dope promo shots, like he's younger than you, he's bringing his like fraternity brothers and sisters, like he's pulling like more people to the club, like it's a weird game right now. Shit's different, like it's good and bad. Like I think we're hearing less of an individual sound though, right? Because I think everyone on YouTube, all the tutorials, you know, like, and everything that I think a lot of the youth has become really good at like imitating something and then perfecting that. But then you never really hear, like, they never are able to generate their own sound because there's too many references. Right. Whereas like, but I think it's teaching for them to like, okay, like I learned how to do like tech house today on YouTube. Like that's it. It will serve them well down the road, but like but they really have a hard time searching within their history, and their creative history, because but art. So like to execute what their sound is, because there's too many references to things, and they're kind of looking at it mathematically, but they're not looking at it like, wow, when I was younger, my mom would play this song all the time. Right. And it hits me a certain way. Yeah. And now I want to take that song and I want to recreate it somehow. Right. To kind of show everyone that sound. Or it's like even with fashion designers, like these kids don't know to look at their history of like, wow, my grandma used to make like my uniform for school. Yeah. And she used to put all this care into fabrics. They're just looking in Instagram and looking at other fashion shows. Right. And they're taking from digital references. Yeah. But they don't know how to tap into their actual childhood or their history, and then taking that and then turning it into something of their own, which is what every producer has done, right? Yeah. In like, even in hip hop, for anything, they've taken from their childhood, their past. Yeah. And they've made it something of their own and recreated it, you know? Well, because like, I didn't even know like how to purchase records. Like my parents had like the home entertainment system from like RCA, like it was plastic, and but they had like, my parents always liked diverse music, so they had country vinyl. They had my parents, I have a distinct memory of them doing the Achy Breaky Heart dance at one point in my life, and so they would listen to like country, but like they also had like Stevie records and like disco stuff. So like that's when I first started messing with it, that's all I had. I didn't even know you could buy records. Like I was that young and dumb. Like, so I feel like that's not young and dumb. I feel like we all used our parents' records, right? But like that, but they don't have that now. Like you were saying, like they like that was like a period where like you like opened your mind up because that's all you had, but like put you onto music you never would discover before. You know what I mean? So like that was beneficial to us to like stumble our way through that because that's all we had. Like, but like I accidentally fell in love with Stevie Wonder because my parents had that, you know, and Motown. Like I fucking love Motown, like because they had certain records. It was like I never would have known that music until like maybe years later or whatever. But it's like I feel like it's beneficial. I tell kids like, yo, you can use whatever you want. Like they're like, what DAW do you use? I'm like, whatever you can comfortably get. Like I never put out a record and it banged at the club or DJ's like, yo, that's my favorite shit. And then they're like, but you know, you made it on Adobe Audition. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've just never happened in my life. Like it's kind of like the best thing is like, you know, even with DJs, like, oh man, he's using a controller or he's using this or he's not using CDJs or turntables or da-da-da-da. Yeah. It's like whatever the fuck they've mastered and they're destroying it with, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Like even to this day, you know, we edit the videos, you edit the videos with Final Cut. Yeah. And literally I do a lot of the teasers or I do like the fast cut edits and layered edits, but I'm still using iMovie. So when people come to me, they're like,
how are you editing this? And I'm like, iMovie. And they're like,
Yeah.
wait, you're using iMovie? Why are you using that? And I'm like, I just move really fast on it, and I know how to layer it.
And that's the biggest thing.
I'm a lot slower in iMovie than Final Cut.
Yeah.
But vice versa.
And I use Ableton for certain things, like warping, and Ableton has things that like are very good at, but like I've always used FL Studio, which was Fruity Loops at one point, for certain things, because that one can do things that the other can't. And I'm still in Adobe Audition mainly for my main DAW, but I can spectral edit in that, and I can do things that like, I'm like, if they put it all in one, if I'm like, can you add this one feature and this one feature, I would be in one. But like, I'm like an alien like that. People still can't believe. I'm like, well, the radio station had Cool Edit Pro. It got bought out by Adobe. It's now Adobe Audition, and I just can work fast in it. Like, I know every little nook and cranny of that thing. So like, it works for me, but like people still don't understand it. They're like, I don't even know how you do that in that program, because it seems so incapable of doing what you're doing with it.
I remember I saw a video with Teddy Riley. It had to have been like 15, 20 years ago. And they were interviewing him, and he was in the studio in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like bragging about all of this new equipment. Like, oh man, you know, like, this was when what was the Neptune keyboards? What were they? The Tritons, or what were they?
Yeah, that was a popular keyboard.
Yeah. So like, he was just, I got the new Triton, I got the new this, I got the new that. And he was just like saying like, yo man, like, everyone just sends me the equipment, man. And I just like, I make it. And I was just like thinking, I'm like, damn, he has all that shit. But I'm like, but he ain't making nothing. Like, but like, ain't nothing really popping right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I was just kind of like, you feel me?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not shitting on Teddy Riley, obviously, right?
You can cut that out.
No, that's the homie. That's the homie.
But I feel like that almost is a disservice, because you just have too many options and you don't know what to narrow down to. Like,
yeah, and I run into that too with like, when it's like, okay, you gotta do official remix. Like sometimes I'll be in like Serum and be like, fuck, I have like 1,000 million presets. Like, and sometimes I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, I kind of want it to be like this. And I'm just like, nope. And I'll be there for like hour, bro. It's like, nope. And I'll find it eventually. But like, the optionality of like that is stressful sometimes, especially when I'm on a deadline. Like, oh, I want it to be an electric piano. Like, I know I got it somewhere. Like, it's stressful. Like, it's
wait, so you're saying that people hit you up for official remixes?
Yeah.
Like labels and stuff?
Yeah.
That's dope. Wait. I want to talk about this really quick. So when the label, how often does a label hit you up for official remixes?
Well, pandemic, it really went away because they weren't even working. But like,
all right, so let's talk about pre-pandemic. From
2019.
From what year? From like,
it's like it's hit or miss. Like the budgets too have shrunk now. So like I did a spec remix for the Chainsmokers single High. And so that, if they approve it, like it'll be good, and like hopefully that works out. And sometimes they have a budget up front. And they're like, yo, we're going to break you off this much. Like, can you have it by this date? And it's always yesterday. Like, they're like, usually they're asking for remixes because they're trying to get it played on like a certain formatted radio station or like Sirius. Like, I did a Nelly Florida Georgia line, and Sirius, Aoki's channel wanted a specific
remix for it.
They wanted a house version, and like it ended up working great because like the label loved it. Like we got 800 spins. Like since you put that, like we gave it to them. Like they're using that. So like sometimes it's purpose based, and other times the record isn't doing it very good. So they want like a remix package to like help like club DJs and like mix show people play it. So
they go to you.
Not just me. Like they have some, and like it's relationships. Like,
but you're like the wedding DJ thing. You're the top tier, right?
No, no, bro. There's other people in that space that are like crushing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the dude at all. I'm just like new to the space.
But you're getting contacted, right? Which is good. Though.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great. But so like, did this all start with the Rihanna Rude Boy remix? What year was that?
06, I think. And I was like,
so you remixed
with the Rihanna was not
Rihanna
06.
Rude Boy.
Yeah, it was
09.
It was 09.
It was 09.
Rude Boy was 09?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like Umbrella was like 06, 07.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Rude Boy was after.
So it was 09.
Okay, yeah.
And you made this like more up tempo remix. It was amazing. I used to play it. It just hit harder, right?
Yeah, it had like some like synth stabs on it and stuff. And then like Trina and this reggae dude on a Rebel, like I don't know how they got a hold. I think a Miami radio station played it, and then like they reached out to me. It was like, yo, Trina wants to do a rap on it, and this other dude like wants to do a verse, and that's the first time it's ever happened. I was like, oh, word? Like Trina, like like at that time she still was like not the most popular female artist anymore, but I was like, to me, I'm like, yo, I know who the fuck she is. Like, go for it. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like,
and then the label actually what?
Yeah, they made it official. They co-signed it. I was like, yeah, cool. Like
that was the first time that happened.
I think so. Wow. I think from what I can remember, yeah.
Was it a decent payday or they played you?
No, I got played on that one. Yeah.
What did you get?
Damn it.
It was like next to nothing. Yeah, it was something like.
What'd you say? How much?
500.
500. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bleep that out.
No. Yeah, you could bleep it. I don't know.
I think that's good that you started at 500.
No, but like at the time,
what's your rate now? It's like 750.
No, bro. No, I'm top tier. I'm top tier now, bro. What the fuck?
Top tier.
Wait, so like we can bleep this out.
Yeah.
What do you get now for like
average is like between like. The label's like well, we need if they do like a name remix, I'll have like Tiesto do it, but like the like whatever label it is, it'll be like I'm not saying that's in that case, but I'll be like, okay, well if we say we want a Marshmello remix in a remix package, but we have like a Scooter remix that we know like the DJs are gonna fucking play it.
Yeah,
we're covering our bases, but like Tiesto's price is like $50K, but it's a name. So like if you're on Spotify, you don't know me because you're not a fucking DJ. Like Kelly search on Spotify, be like, Tiesto did a remix, like instantly they feel like they get more
to it, right?
So like they pay for it in that way, and I'm not Tiesto like from a name perspective at all. So it's like, yeah, like that's how that works. Like they'll pay for a name because sometimes people stream a name over like me, but everyone in the mother's playing the DJ No Name version because it's the better version. Like that happens all the time. Like you see remix packages and like like you get sent them from whoever, like, and you're like, man, like. This isn't really like work for me, like format wise, like, you know what I mean? Like
it's so interesting. So then, all right, so wait.
It's not just me. Other people do that too. There's a lot of DJs.
I'm sure,
like,
yeah.
Like I'm not the dude in any of these spaces. Like the other people.
But you are the dude to us. You know?
Well, I appreciate that.
You are the guy over here.
You are the guy to us.
I appreciate that. But,
and you're here. We can't talk to them, so we're gonna ask you the questions.
Bro, like I'm always so uncomfortable. Like I try to remain as humble as possible, like in all walks of life. Like I appreciate that, and like it never gets old. Like
wait, have you always been that way, or did you have to get checked? You got checked a couple times.
Miley Cyrus had to check.
No, I find myself now having to like feeling the need to like, you know how like when your homie's like a little too drunk and like you're like, yo, you got to put like a strong arm hug around him, like, yo, bro, like chill out. Like I feel like I got to be that dude now because people are like violating shit that we grew up with never happened. So like I just always try to remain humble and tell them like, yo, like. Check yourself. Like,
what do you mean? Like, don't touch me?
No. Just like you just started DJing 2 years ago. Like, and like you got put on because your homie like works at the club now. Like, but like you didn't do shit. Like, chill with the fucking cocky talk on social media. Like, you run shit because you've been DJing for 2 years. Like, I'm like, yo, like, there's a lot of young bulls like just out of pocket sometimes, and I'm like, chill. Like,
but I see it as like a little kid. That's
not knowing what they don't know.
No, it's like, you know, when you push around a little kid, they're like, "Stop pushing me! I'm gonna fuck you up." And you're just like, I get the fuck out of here. That's how I see them. Like when they are on Twitter and they're like, "No, I just killed it last night."
Yeah.
With that exact voice.
Like it was fucking lit. Like everything I do is lit.
I'm thinking that I'm the best DJ right now. No one can fuck with me. I'm just like,
Mike Tyson.
That was really good, Craig.
Yeah, that was DJ Tyson. Mike Tyson.
DJ Tyson.
my style is impeccable.
Baby Tice.
Yeah, that was good.
No, but I see them like that, like kind of just like, you know, like, oh, you know, like, I can't believe last night was great. I mean, you know, I can't believe I've done this, I've done that in only 2 years.
It's a fucking movie every night he DJs. Like, no matter what.
Like,
on a Tuesday.
It's not just young DJs. It's a bunch of motherfuckers that do that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like weird because like there's like I'm like such a nice dude. Like I really have always been like that. And it's like that's when like the 3 a.m. tweets that come out and I'm like all this shit that I see and like let slide and don't comment on it. Then I'm like, why I gotta be? I'm the nice dude. Like why do bro, I got to be the guy. Like everyone else sees it, and then they'll like reply like, yeah, bro, or whatever. And I'm like, why am I the only one speaking on some of that shit? Like,
we just gotta let them do their thing. I feel like.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, and I don't want to be like, I'm not the DJ police. Like, I hate feeling like that. Like, but when some shit's like wrong, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, we're in the middle ground age wise of like the DJ community. Like,
really?
There's a lot of younger dudes and there's a lot of older dudes. Like,
oh, I feel like I'm up there with the older guys though. No,
nah.
I kind of.
We all still like mid-tier.
You old too now.
I know. I feel like me and Scooter roughly. I think you might be a few years younger than me.
But like, it's like, yo, we're in a good space. Like we have experience, but we're not washed. Like we can DJ any room. Like
season.
Yeah, like it's a good maturity. It's like being 28 forever, but in the DJ world, like you're old enough to know, but like still young enough to like do shit. You know what I mean? Like so.
Well, how do you want them to act? How do you want these youngins to act?
I just would like people to like ask, like.
And it's not all of them. There's some of them.
No, it's
really,
not. I'm not. And that's a generalization. It's stupid. But like, I just see like random stuff like on social sometimes, and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this is. Like the captions are reckless. Like if I said that out loud when I was coming up, I would have got smacked in the back of the head by an OG or some shit. Like
I'm kind of wondering, did you ever wonder though if we did have social media and like when you were younger, how you would have acted on it? I would have been.
You're like reading tweets instead of like MySpace. You're reading tweets from like 01, and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah,
like,
but even like 90, 95 or 97, can you imagine if you had Twitter? My shit would have been ignorant as fuck.
Yeah, there would have been photos of me like passed out at Penn State, like with the bathtub,
right?
Like throwed up on like.
Yeah,
at a frat party I didn't deserve to be at.
Maybe we're too hard on them though. That's why you gotta let them do their shit.
Yeah. I just feel like I think maybe it's just personal because like I care so much and I put so much time into what I do behind the scenes when I'm not DJing for DJs. Like that's my biggest thing. Like I don't make this shit just for me to play it. Like if I did, you would never have my edits and I'd be out here like, you don't have this shit. You don't have this shit. Like I literally care so much. Like I don't put all that time for just myself. It's like I care about the community enough to do that. Like just have a little bit of like check yourself.
But you remember when we were growing up, like this is no social media, right?
Right.
We're growing up. What was the biggest platform for us to say something dope or cool? It was when we were like in a room of older dudes or like our big brothers or something, right? So like if we went into this room with these these older dudes who were like 5-6 years older than us, right?
Yeah.
And if we just said something cool or did something cool, it was like getting a viral tweet.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like, enough likes. It was validation.
It was validation.
Yeah.
And I feel like, they'd be like, oh man, little man got it. Or he's cool, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or like, yo, man, little man can rap or little man can dance. Like, he's good, right?
Yeah.
And then you get a nickname from that or something, right?
Right.
And then we walk away like, oh my God, like I'm fucking cool.
Did that happen to you?
That's to me. That happened to me.
But I feel like when I was
He's like, that's a really good Mike Tyson impersonation.
No, but when I was growing up, I was super careful because I didn't want to see something stupid. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you on that.
And then, but it's like you did have those moments where you said something dumb and then you get ripped apart. Like,
of course.
And then you go home at night, laying in bed like this, like, oh, why did I say?
But I don't know. I don't feel like these kids have that experience. Or maybe if we had the Twitter platform, it's like. It's kind of a variation of that of some sort, like social media.
It's literally like the epitome of double-edged sword because it does so much good for like being able to connect like with people. Like I don't think I've ever met any of you, but like I was aware of all of you guys and vice versa. And like I've been in people's Seratos and like I can't tell you how many times like I've felt like I've developed the best friendship flying into a city and never meeting someone, and by the end of the day. Like, yo, like, that's a cool motherfucker. Like, like, we had a great day. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, that's amazing. Like, and that never would have happened without, like, being able to share stuff, what I do. And, like, that's a positive. But, like, there's also the negative, and that pisses me off sometimes. Like, it's like yin and yang. Like, there's some day I want to fire off tweet and be like, at blah, blah. And it's like, nah. Like, you know what I mean? That's not my job. Like, I think I just care. If I cared less, like, I wouldn't be as passionate about it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really not my job. I'm like literally doing therapy on the microphone right now. But
no. But
fine. I'm like trying to like walk through the mental
space here.
Yeah. It's a Planet Fitness.
It's because it's because you're seeing a younger DJ, and you just want them to move smarter. You want them,
like they have potential. Like they can cut. They're like. They look the part, like they're on the come up, like, but then they do some shit, and you're like,
right,
man, like, I just want to be like, yo, come here, little homie, like, let me holler at you about this.
Yeah,
like,
do that on the DMs, like, you know.
Yeah, like, let's go have lunch, like, let me.
But then they might be like, fuck you, like, I didn't ask for your shit.
Yeah,
right?
because
you see,
you know what I see happen too.
Fuck you, old man.
Yeah, exactly. Because all the homies like that like I come up with are also on the social media shit, and they're just pumping their head up like, that's my dude. He's the best of whatever they do. Like, best toilet cleaner in the world. Like, all your homies tell you that because you have a dope toilet cleaning Instagram page, and like your shit's popping. Like,
no, but I think they do that because they want it reciprocated. So it's like, if I say your pizza's dope, even though it's
yeah,
at least you can say my burritos are the dope shit too, and then I could say, you know, D's
chicken wings.
Chicken wings are the best.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
And then like
barbecue.
Never's calzones are like top tier.
Right.
But they're like, you know?
But like but together you're like the Power Rangers of like, you're like together or forces.
But no, but like if we band
We're the
together,
best.
we band together, we can create this fake narrative,
right,
that we're all spectacular.
Right.
But like there was a bunch of comedians that were talking about this.
Really?
Where they were saying a lot of the mediocre or like kind of lower tier or like really bad comedians started manipulating social media and like retweeting each other, liking, commenting.
Well, there was one thing
and
about
bigging each other up. Yeah.
There was that DJ group allegedly that people, there was a DJ group chat and they would gas each other up, and you kind of had to pay to get into the group chat.
Wait, what?
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Is that new?
I'm being dead ass.
But like, what was the purpose of having
to make him look like they're popping on the Instagram? So
wait, like they would tell you like, hey bro, at 2 o'clock can you big me up on Twitter?
No, it'd be like
everyone had a turn.
Like we'll be a group chat and be like, yo, Scooter just posted a pig, go like it and leave a comment.
Yeah, yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah. So it was like that.
It's genius though.
No,
and
but
they made himself like, so yo, you killing with your outfits, and it was just like, yo, dude had like some weak shit on you.
So for example,
that's a real thing. Somebody asked me to be a part of like this influencer. A friend of a friend like told me like, my boy just moved to Arizona, like he's killing it on Instagram, like, and I'm like, what did he do? He just quit his job and he's just doing like, he moved in the house with like 3 other dudes that are like trying to blow up themselves for Instagram. And I was like, okay. He was like, you should talk to him. Like,
it's like modern day trap house now.
So
no one's dealing crack,
and so
they're doing likes.
They're
creating content,
posting shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
So what happened was like, if you wanted to be in, like he like put me on a text with the dude, and he was like, yo, like this is the deal, like it's $500 up front, but like you get in this group chat, and it was like fitness people on IG, like entertainment, and it was like, yo, like, all right, y'all, like I just posted a new photo today, like my butt looks real good, make sure you show some love. It'd be like, yo, I just posted a new mix. Like I didn't join it, but like he ran me down the whole game, and I was like,
that's
are
crazy.
You fucking kidding me? Like,
but it's really brilliant.
It is. But like,
because imagine,
and they were making money on it because like everyone that came in the group,
right,
they're eating on that shit, and they were like, they were
a pyramid scheme.
Well, imagine you post like a mix, and you're in this group chat, and then like all of these people on Instagram with all of their followers, like, oh my god, my favorite mix right now.
Yeah, and
I can't stop, right?
And she sells calzones, but like all industries are hitting the algorithm.
So it's like the synergy of different
and
people,
it seems organic, which is it's smart,
right?
But it's fraud as fuck too.
Right.
Like, it's wild. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. So it was happening in DJs. Actually, when the IG live shit would happen, like say if D Miles was live on IG DJing, out of nowhere he'll get like 500 people in the room. And it's because somebody sent the link into that group chat.
Yeah, it was happening with the comedians. Like, so all of these comedians were doing that.
That were like just below the good level.
Yeah. So if you don't, do you guys kind of remember when Netflix started giving out like all of these like
specials,
yeah,
like 2016
of these comedians you never heard of?
I went to high school with one.
Yeah,
she sat right behind me because my last name with the W. Her Michelle Wolf. She's
great. I love her. I love Michelle Wolf.
She sat right behind me in homeroom.
I'm such a Michelle Wolf fan. She's amazing.
Can you call her?
Yeah, call her.
No, but it was like one of the things because like she would like ran track like great, like nothing bad to say about her. Her older brother played ice hockey with me on the ice hockey.
She always had that voice.
No.
Oh my god.
Never had
I'm
that.
Michelle Wolf.
That's new.
Really?
Yeah, never
think
talked
she
like-
made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of comedians and entertainers come up with a different voice just to kind of catch people.
But like even we went to like I remember like the 5-year high school reunion, and I don't know if we had I don't know if I went to 10-year, but like I sent her twice since then, and like she wasn't doing the comedy then. Like she didn't talk like
Probably a writer, right?
But she moved to New York, and like then Chappelle like took her under his wing like recently, and like once you get in that circle, it's like the same thing I was telling you. Any industry,
She's good. She's good.
no, yeah, she's killing it. But
she blew up off of that on what is that?
the political,
It was the press dinner, right?
yes,
Yeah.
She went in on everybody.
Yeah.
She killed that shit. Yeah.
yeah. But it was wild because I'm like, she literally like never. I at that time like I was fucking around with DJing, but like that'd be like someone being like, yo, I can't believe you're playing here. Like, and it's wild. Like, I never thought you'd do that. In my mind, I'm like, she never ever did that in all the time I knew her. And then all of a sudden she's like massive. And I'm like, that's wild. Like it's great. Like I fully support that shit. But like, she never was like the funny girl. Like, but
she internalized it all.
no, but we all grow and change. Like, it's just dope that can happen. But like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah, but you're exactly right. Around when her special came out, all of these other unknown comedians started having specials because there was a demand that Netflix had. They needed more comedians.
yeah.
So these comedians, these lower, like, that weren't funny comedians, banded each other up, hyped each other up to the point where Netflix started noticing, like, oh, look at the followers. Look at the retweets. Look at the...
Yeah.
Look at like everyone's commenting, and look, like all of these peers and all of these comedians, certain comedians are saying they're the next one.
Yeah.
So they started listening, and they started giving specials to these motherfuckers, and then they were like, "Oh, these specials aren't good." And then there was literally like a few years where they was just getting duped, where Netflix was getting duped, and it was like,
Yeah, but there was also
all
a
this shit
race
going out.
at that time to get content because I had an interview with another company that was doing that, which I can't name because I signed an NDA, but I got a job interviewed on the West Coast for another big company in that space. And when we did a tour, they were like, yeah, like we're getting heavy into like content creation there, like specials. And I was like, well, you guys don't even do that at all. Like you don't even have a video streaming service right now, like in my mind. But like, they're like, yeah, we signed this person. And it was like A-list people like in the world. And I was like, oh shit. So I think at the time everyone was like, we were in a race. Like we need to just like shoot these specials, like, and put it in
just get it out there.
Put it in the holster.
Right.
And like, if we need it, like boom, special. Like,
They just needed quantity and not quality.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that just always reminded me of those comedians talking shit about all of these lower grade comedians banding together, and their strength in numbers.
Yeah, and
I didn't know about that group chat.
And
it's that group chat shit.
And it's wild because like I think for sure you've talked about it on Twitter.
Hold on, real quick. You know, like 5 of the motherfuckers in there.
Well, you know what? I noticed certain like homies,
Yeah.
and like I noticed they'd post, and then like there'd be like 30 comments. I'm like, wow, that's really good. Like they're getting 30. It's like, you know, when you post a flyer, like it's very rare for you to get like 50 comments, right?
Right away, yeah.
But when I looked at the comments, I'm like, oh, these are all homies. I'm like, I guess they really like that motherfucker. Like they really homies with him.
But then
like
if you go to their page and you go to their comments,
it's the same motherfuckers commenting. Yeah. And I'm like,
and
wow.
it's like fire emojis and all this.
But like, I think you said it before on Twitter, like DJs just like in general, like are just like assholes to each other. Like it's like threatened. And like, I like being cool with everybody because I'm like, yo, like I do what I do. You can probably do this better than me or whatever. Like that.
But it was never like that.
No, but like you see it now. Like some people just like, it's like people I know and like face to face, like I see. Like,
yeah, but none of these DJs would talk like that if they were in front of each other. No,
they don't. I'm saying like, it's like, yo, what up? And then it's like, I post a flyer and I never see a fucking heart emoji. But like in person, like these motherfuckers are like, yo, bro, blah, blah, like, can I come over and like blah, blah, blah. Like, oh shit. It's like, I'm like, yo, like.
Well, you know, there has to be an incentive.
No, but
there has to be an incentive. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Am I wrong? Like,
no,
but you notice that too with like people
that
like you're friends with and you like don't feel like they like, it's like that. I repost that shit all the time. It's like Drake will put out a fucking product of like soap and like all your friends will go fucking buy it. But like, if I ask you to come to my charity event, like you won't support.
But there
it's
has to be incentive to support. if they're not gonna get anything out of supporting you,
yeah, like it's a good look for like their social career. Like,
I mean, we spoke about this not long ago about when I needed somebody to rent out, I think it was speakers, and the homie C-Flow jumped up and gave him his props. Some people, he told me, yo, a lot of people get the speakers from me, but if it's like they never show me love, they never say it,
because it's not a look.
If Jazzy Jeff would have let him borrow the speakers, it would have been like, oh, fuck. Like, yo, Jazzy Jeff.
Like, why am I going to tweet how much Scooter helped me if no one's going to retweet that?
Yeah.
Then I look like a sucker. But if I retweet that, I could have bumped into Jazzy Jeff and been like, yo, I'm a big fan. He's like, yo, I appreciate that. And be like, yo, just bumped into Jazzy Jeff. Changed my life. Thank you, Jeff. I could just make up some shit like that.
Likes.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the words you told me, Jeff. And I tweet that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to like that. So there's an incentive for me to tweet about that person.
Right.
But there's no incentive for me to tweet about D Miles. Like, what do I get out of that?
Right. You know what's weird though is
unless he has like, unless he's part of a clique, a venue, and he's doing the bookings. Oh, then I'm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There has to be an incentive,
right,
to who I'm going to support.
But that's so sad because I think I'm probably the last generation where I'm not afraid of being somebody else's fan. Like, I'm not afraid of like, yo,
me neither.
Fuck with your shit. Because even Scooter, when we were coming up here, we're in the elevator, he's like, yo, I've been following your sneaker shit since 2014. I'm like, God damn. Like, I didn't even know that shit. And that's some shit like you don't hear every day. Like, I look up to you. I mean, you're a fan of me. I'm a fan of you type of shit. And there's not a lot of that shit in the DJ community now.
But so I started because like Twitter, DJ Twitter, like in the last like year has been like really reckless. I feel like, and like I've always been one of those dudes. Like if I have a long drive, like I'll go through like my phone Rolodex and be like, who's a homie I haven't talked to, and I'll call them. And most people like get a call, they think something's wrong now, and they'll be like, yo, you good? And I'm like, yo, bro, I just want to like, are you good? Like, how's life? And like I make it, or I'll tweet. I'll be like, yo, like, just big appreciation post for the homie and blah, blah, blah. Like, because there's so much opposite of that going on that sometimes I feel like some of the passion I have about shit that's wrong, I'm like, I should probably direct that into like putting good energy out in the world, and like that eventually will like come back.
See, I agree with what you're doing.
Right?
I do agree with it.
Because I do appreciate everyone. Like I'm not like, if you're comfortable with yourself, you shouldn't feel wrong like bigging up other people. Like,
but I also feel like these platforms that are already corrupted.
Yeah.
Or these methods that are already corrupted.
Yeah.
There's no point in showing an enlightened new alternative for it.
Okay. Yeah.
I say
it's already fucked. Yeah.
To me, it's already fucked.
Yeah.
I just move how I move.
Right.
And it's somehow, if we're underground but we're moving good and everyone's thriving, let these motherfuckers on the top surface do whatever they want.
Right.
Because they're never gonna understand how we move underground. So I'd rather be in the subways
killing it,
with my small circle of motherfuckers that I like, than be in the surface and have all these motherfuckers copying us or trying to infiltrate this kind of what we do.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have it be like under the surface, and just continue to move how you move, and not try to like bring to light what they're doing.
Yeah, Bronix, my homie Bronix, I'm sure you know him. Like, he's the king of that. Like, I don't see him often, but he's like from PA originally, and like he'll
we love Bronix.
We're the king of, now he lives out here, so it's he's the king of like, when I do get to hang out with him, like we'll sit on like his tour bus or like wherever we're at, and like for like 2 hours at a diner, or like he'll even like say shit on like Twitter to like, if I fire off a tweet that's like, he'd be like, yo, bro, like, as a homie, like, you should not, you're wasting energy. Like, he's the king of that, and I love him for that, because I'll be like, you know what, like, like, why are you letting yourself get all like worked up over that shit? Like, it's like I posted about that mass DJ shit, and he was like, bro, like,
don't do it.
Yeah, like, you're putting energy where it don't belong. Like,
I was in Texas recently. I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then like, when I go there, I meet up with like Marvel, my homie John Goodwin,
right,
Brax, these DJs, and we're literally after my gig, we talk for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then there's a young DJ, Brax. He's like, man, like, like no one ever does this. And I'm like, yo, that's why it's special. Like these are the moments that you need, but it's not special when there's a bunch of like weirdos or like motherfuckers that you don't want in here.
Yeah, like just industry
Yeah, so
randos that run in the room.
Those are the things you just like. I cherish those moments. Like whenever like any of us go out of town and we just talk with the homies and we have lunch or we meet up with them before the gig or after the gig. You talk for 2 hours.
Yeah,
that like no amount of tweets or retweets or likes in a tweet is gonna like supplement that at all. So it's like they learn slowly how much like how much substance are in those meetings.
Yeah.
But it takes time. Like, let them go off on Twitter and go through their shit and see where they go.
Yeah.
But then it's like, when it comes down to like sitting down with a motherfucker, like, man, it might be one of those things where like, man, I can't wait to just sit down with y'all and hang out.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, but you got to earn that.
Yeah.
It's like, you ain't going to just get that shit on Twitter.
Which is why like I'm a big fan of this platform, because to me, like, it feels like that. You know what I mean? Like, you guys keep it super 100, like $100 all the time. And like, I know that like later, I know like this is going to get heard by a lot of people, hopefully, but like all of the episodes always feel like how those moments, which is like, you never get that. So like, I appreciate the platform that you guys are doing because it just feels like that. And like, you keep it like 100, like sometimes you say shit and I'm like, that's kind of like a statement like to put out in the public, but like it's real. Like that's what it is. So like I feel like that's valuable to have those conversations. Like,
I think that's what becoming a DJ, like all of us, right? Isn't that like we would just all meet up and just like talk? I mean, that's why the Rhino, like I remember in Vegas when I first moved out here, the Rhino was a spot because it was a meeting place for all the DJs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the only place open, and it was like we all went there. We got food, we got drinks,
we got dances.
We got dances. but it was
allegedly.
like, yeah, I mean, and it was like we would just talk about what was wrong, what was right. And like if I had beef with somebody, if someone had beef with, we hash it out there, which is the same thing. It's like if you come on the podcast,
right?
I'm not gonna not address something that happened between us,
right?
Like, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
In a constructive way where we're not on like social media just talking shit back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to impress my boys, you're trying to impress your boys. And
because it's gonna get read by everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's different when we're like on a podcast, and I'm not gonna embarrass you, but I am gonna say like I fucked up or you fucked up. So like let's talk about it and speak about it.
And I think I first reached out when there was some shit like that going on with like one of my people I used to work with, and like we had a like backstage like conversation about that, and I was like, yo, you handled that really like appropriately for both sides. Like you asked the hard questions for both.
Wait, what was this?
It was the Scoop episode. I think you guys handled that really well. Like,
the Fat Man Scoop.
Yeah, all that bullcrap like
versus Scissorhands.
Yeah. You handled that well. Like I felt like from your perspective, like
did I? I didn't know.
No, like as a group. No, as a group. No, you were. I remember you asking you were like, but like. Doesn't it seem fucked up that blah, blah, blah? To like, you asking like questions that, if you're listening, you're like, yeah, but you would ask anyway, or you're thinking about it, and you were just like, yeah, like you asked, and it could have been awkward, like, I guess, but I was like, yo, they handled that shit like a G, like really good. So
you're pretty close to that situation though, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've worked with Scissorhands.
Yeah, and Riz.
And you're cool with Fat Man Scoop.
Yeah.
Who did you side with?
Because I mean, you started at Crooklyn Clan in what, 05?
Yeah, 05.
When did Be Faithful come out? You were like in the heart of that.
Be Faithful came out in the 90s, like 97, 98.
Yeah, 98. Because Scoop tells that story. He was A&Ring at Diddy's label.
Yeah.
And he took the record in. And
he blew that shit.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't even listen to it. Like, and then Diddy went out to the club, like 2 weeks later, and like called him from the club because the DJ was playing the shit, and like was like, this shit's a hit, and like it was like wild how that shit happened. But yeah, that was way before me. Like I knew like all parties involved after I started working for them, and they
all
like.
Right, so wait, whose side were you on though?
Well, here's the thing, like
bleep it out. We just want to know what side.
I never.
Who are you tighter with? Who are you tighter with? Right?
Now?
Yeah.
Like Scoop. Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, like I didn't choose that. Like I just like I had to sit down like a few times, like long conversations, like, and I got all parties involved, and I got everyone's perspective, and like then I just put like the math together of like mentally, like as a person, like okay, this makes sense, like this doesn't seem to make sense, like I understand why this person doesn't like this because you know, like, and then I just kind of like formed my own opinion.
It's like the last episode of The Sopranos, right? You don't really know what happened.
Did he get shot?
It just goes black.
Yeah.
And you're like, did he die?
Did Tony die?
Did Tony die?
No, but like I'm not gonna I'm not shitting on them. Like Riz and Sis like definitely owe them like the platform they put me on and shit. And like I'm forever indebted to them for that for sure. Like
let's talk about this. So
Okay.
Brooklyn Clan, known for insane party breaks, right?
Yeah.
The part.
That was like the only website that was like you could like
So
at the time like
so they're known for these party breaks. Everyone knows it. Be Faithful, Franklin's,
Everything from AVA Records from
AVA
back.
Records,
Yeah.
and then
It is.
they launched a site which
Yeah.
was crooklymclan.net.
yeah.
And it had all these editors and mashups. This is like the mashup, this is like the glory period for like mashups and edits, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the go-to site for mashups and edits and remixes.
Yeah. And it also helped that AM was playing all those mashups.
And he was on the site technically, but like
Right.
he wouldn't put it much out. But he would every now and then he'd be like, AM put out a fucking edit.
And,
And he
we're not talking cheap shit. It wasn't.
Right.
It was like $5 or some shit for
it
certain
was like
remixes.
$3.99.
But that was a lot back then.
Yeah. But
some,
like
some
there
was
also,
like 4 and change. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but like there was not. Where else were you buying? Like you can't get that, especially because it was like all homies from like all different demographic, like West Coast, East Coast. Like it was like, and we only put out like 2 or 3 songs a week tops.
So like a lot of editors like yourself.
Yeah.
You all contributed, right?
Yeah.
And what I really loved about the Crooklyn Clan site, right? Because I actually never joined and I never bought anything from it. I rarely did.
You just like let the homies give it.
Well, like I
Traded
don't.
music.
You know what the thing is? Like I'm from New York, so
Yeah.
like we didn't play a lot of edits. We didn't play mashups, right? Like I didn't
Well,
play
by
that.
the time
much.
I moved out here, I was playing mashups. But in New
But
York,
I wasn't playing some of those.
it.
Like I
Not
wasn't
really.
playing a lot of those.
It wasn't a New East
It
Coast.
was just too much. Like I'd
New York
rather
thing.
play the original, like and then go to it.
Which is I do that too. Like yeah.
But in rare occasions, there'd be one outstanding one, and I'd be like, and I had to pay for it, obviously.
Right.
But what I loved about crooklymclan.net was they had like this Billboard chart, right? So they had this chart of the dopest, best-selling remixes.
Yeah.
And then like you kind of just saw like who was killing it with the remixes. Like one editor might have like 8 remixes in the top 20. You know, others might have 1 or 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
But you were like always, you were top
10 always.
tier. You were top tier.
Like all time.
in the
Top
wedding
tier.
industry,
Top
in
tier. He's been
the
top
editing
tier.
industry, you know, like you're just killing it.
No stop.
Nonstop.
No stop.
I love it.
Be a douche. Be a douche.
No.
Be a douche.
This is when I turn 3 colors on my face. It's embarrassed.
You're always top 10 on that
Yeah.
side.
It was like
all
top
time.
5, I think.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
no,
top
like all, I'm talking like all time, like
Are you their all-time best editor?
no,
No?
Who would
like
you say
sales
is?
wise, I don't know, but there's the whole reason, a big reason why I left the site and a lot of us all left was because the back end payment structure got fucked with that. And people started purchasing their own tracks to inflate the charts, like labels buy, and we like spoke. Some of us who had been there for a while spoke on it, and there was,
Wait, can we talk about this a little bit more?
yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
This
I've
I'm
always
gonna when this shit comes out, I'm gonna get tweets about this conversation, guaranteed.
No, because I've been so curious. 'Cause
Yeah.
we had Scissorhands
all are.
on it,
Yeah.
right? And look, Scissorhands is a strong character.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, you guys got paid really fucking well, right? Kind of.
Like there was
So wait. I know there's some edits that were like 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. Your edits were priced at what? How much?
well, it was the same for everybody at one point, but then they
wasn't it different prices on
they
shit?
they changed
believe
it.
it was.
It changed like after a couple. I think it was like 06 or 07.
Okay, so at first it was what, like all $2.99?
Yeah, all $2.99 or something.
Then they started doing like packs, like clean, dirty.
But that was a sales tactic to like generate more income for them.
But I could see Scissorhands being like, yo, like this, you know how Scissorhands talks, right? He's like, yo, this one's killing it right now. We could charge $4.50 for this one, you know, right?
Well, you could.
Yeah. So he would be like, fuck that. This is $2.99. This is going to be like $3.75 or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then that's when the pay structure started changing.
Well, so like there was, and I don't know if I even should say, but there was like an incentive for us to make good shit, because if the higher your track was on the charts, like you got a little bit better of a pay on our side of it for.
And he was splitting it with you guys, right?
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah.
Which is really generous of him, kind of, right? Or is it fair? It's fair. Okay, we'll move on.
I mean, I guess like because I guess like from like I guess at the time, if you look at the time period, like
because let's not lie, there was
nobody knew. Nobody.
Fam,
I didn't have like
there was motherfuckers bragging about that shit. Like,
what?
yo, I just bought a new house off of my edits from like, or like I bought a new car from. Remember,
there was some.
I remember, yeah.
They were like talking mad shit.
I want to say names, but I'm not gonna say shit.
I don't remember. I don't remember the DJs. Thank God.
I
but
do.
You do,
and I know the number.
Fam, they were talking mad shit. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I just fucking bought a new boat off of my Crooklyn Clan edits. You know, y'all ain't shit. Y'all still. I was just like, yo,
got
that's crazy.
The ill house with the pool in the
Yeah,
backyard.
And so like the month of October is always the biggest month because
What was your biggest payday? October was the biggest month. Why?
always because like the Halloween edits like,
Oh.
were like or
shit, man.
yeah, like October was always just like that was like the biggest month always. I don't know why. Like people you would do like a tone play or some shit and like it was like they could only play it for like 2 weeks, but like it was like
Just to the Halloween theme in the beginning of the song, and then you
fly on shit. Like if people would just flock to that shit. And then like there was I remember I didn't make the money, but like the one month I saw like when who was killing it, it was like I think it was like
Fucking
Wow.
hell, bro.
Damn, man.
I never made that month like that, but I mean there was months that I made like that was
That was split though, right? Between
can
no. I was after
That was after
shit.
split.
Yo, this is the frustrating thing. There's so many editors and producers right now making really good shit right
Yeah.
now, actually, and they're not seeing. I want to know how this fell apart. It should still be around, no?
Yeah, I felt like it would have. It's just it's an uncomfortable thing to say on public forums, but like I cared so much. Again, like it's like me being like nice guy. Like
Okay, so wait, you joined in 2005,
right, and at the time you had to go to like a bullpen, they called it. Like you had to like submit like I think like 4 or 5 edits, and like if you in that month that you got on there, if you were like top 2, they would consider you to be put on like Crooklyn Clan, and I made that cut. So then that was like 05, and yeah, I was already making edits, but like that's a whole at that time like that's the hottest shit. Like AM was on there. Like you have to remember the trajectory of open format was like.
I remember, yeah.
Bro, like AM was doing like Paul.
I remember the MySpace. Everyone was a mashup DJ.
Yeah. But like that was like the era. So it was a big platform, and like I said, I'm forever indebted to them for the platform for sure. But like to me, I was like I'm doing the work too. Like I could have been on there and sucked. Like you know,
Right.
So and part of me like. I gotta give like there's a little bit of like I did the work too. So like I want to own that. Like, but I appreciate them putting me on. So like, and I'll never change it. But
yeah,
when the pay shit started getting funky, like is when
explain that. How long was it good? Like when was it good
like,
and it was just flourishing?
Like
and the system was working.
Like 05 to like 08 or something like that.
So it was a good 3 years.
Yeah,
untouched.
4 years. Yeah, like
you guys were caking.
Yeah, like,
nice.
But
off of edits.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and there was dudes making more money than me, like for sure. But like, yeah, it was a good time for everybody for sure.
Can you say what was your biggest payday?
I don't even remember, but it was like.
Do you remember the one song that was like your biggest selling?
Live Your Life transition. It was like 130 down to 80.
T.I. and Rihanna?
Yeah. It was like, that was one of my biggest sellers. I'm trying to remember.
Wait, what was the transition?
So I took the drums and like rebuilt it at 130 and then like had the vocal like chopped, and it like just was really smooth transition down. It was almost seamless. Like it went from 130 to 80.
Actually, I have it right here. Is this it right here?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of my biggest sellers of all time.
So what was the cake off? Like what's the most you made? Like,
well, every month it like reset, but like forever, like on that, I don't know, probably like, I don't know, I don't remember. Like, I don't have the finance. Like, I probably could go back and look, but
no, that's
I don't
cool.
remember.
I don't want the IRS to come at you.
No, yeah.
You know the IRS listens to Road Pod.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No. But like, okay, so you were good. You were making good money off of it.
Yeah.
You were what, like 22 years old?
But it was it full time?
Yeah.
Was it
like
full time money or was it good side money?
I was DJing all the time, so like it was like extra, but like, dude, it's like,
was it exceeding the amount you were making monthly from gigs?
some months, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like,
And so for 3 years, was it just going up and up and up after 3 years? So in your head during the 3 year period,
I feel like there's a parallel line drawn with AM, and I use him as like the lead captain of the dodgeball team. Like he was like driving that ship, and like then when he passed, it was like nobody stepped up to be him because like they couldn't be him. So like I feel like Vice kind of like
he was
stepped in as that like
everyone was hoping Vice would do it.
It was like the like volunteer lead captain because like you're the next up, like, but like no one could be AM because he was AM. Like he had a very unique background with New York and Philly and like cutting, and like his brain was like worked different. Like but after he passed, like rest in peace, like.
But you absolutely
it kind of like open format was in this like now what thing, and I feel like it changed. Like that's when shit EDM like was like, because if AM was still alive and still. Like he played Daft Punk, and everyone's like, now I'm playing Daft Punk. Like he did Wonderwall in my set. Like he was like the dude. So
he's
like
playing electro. And like, we're all playing electro. Yeah.
Some days I'm like, man, if AM was alive today, like I wonder what he'd be like fucking with, like, because he was always like progressive in his thinking with like open format. Like I'm gonna put this crazy shit, and like he was ahead of like the electro shit. Like he was leaned into that earlier than most open format dudes. So I feel like once he passed, like
he's the only DJ I ever saw. And you could correct me. He's the only DJ I've ever seen in my life that when he got more money, we all got more money.
Yeah, we were all eating.
I've never seen another DJ that became successful and then everybody underneath him, like
it trickled down. Yeah.
It trickled down to everybody getting a raise, being more busy, making more money. And then when he passed, it was just like, I think everyone turned to Vice. And then Vice kind of went the EDM route, and we were like, "What are you doing? Like you're supposed to, you're supposed to be.
You got to carry the flag, bro. We need you.
Keep the open format going.
You're supposed to be our champion.
Yeah, well, and this is something that like in retrospect I like figuring stuff out, and so like in retrospect, I like look at the trajectory of all that, and that's the math equation in my mind I made up. I'm like there has to be a reason for this happening. Like, I mean, music's cyclical, so it's always evolving, but if you look at it, it's kind of tied to like the same time period of like late 08, 09. And then like, you remember like Love Is Gone, David Guetta came out like 10 or 9. And it's like, that was like or When Love Takes Over, like that was kind of like and Calabria,
like Kid Cudi with the remixes.
Yeah, like that was kind of like just the LMFAO, like the start of like the EDM taking over. But I'm like, if he was still around, like maybe that doesn't come in so strong, and like, he's like, well, I'm going to do this. And then we're still all, you know what I mean? In my mind, like, I always wonder, like, what if, like, what should have changed? Like, EDM would have bopped.
I think it would have continued. I just think that there wouldn't have been all of these non-DJ EDM DJs pretending to DJ.
Yeah.
As much, maybe. I think there would have been more DJs blowing up, but then it just opened this free-for-all for like, oh, let's just hire these unknown EDM dudes.
Yeah, because there was a period in Vegas where there was a lot of EDM dudes getting bags that weren't
like the EC Twins weren't actually DJing, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like I saw like they were playing pre-recorded mixes or something, and then they were killing it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that era wouldn't have been as big and as like lucrative, and it wouldn't have maybe lasted as long. I feel like there was a period where EDM was like not evolving. Like in 2015, we were like, "What?"
Yeah,
like we're still playing some of the 2011.
Yeah, like Dirty Dutch. Like like it's like Dirty Dutch has been around.
And I think there would have been something else. Then it went just straight to hip hop because it was just like, yo, there's like,
we have nowhere else to go. Like we've been up here at 128 for 6 years.
And there were guys that were getting residencies that had no business getting residencies and making 6-7 figures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to name names, but we probably already know.
I mean, there's so many names. It's like you can't even
insane.
Say it. Yeah.
But they were just still riding that wave. You know what I mean? They were just riding that wave.
Because it was hot. But I like it's just wild because like AM was like, I feel like like there's a lot other people that prefer DJ styles. Like AM was not everyone's style. Like sometimes when he would cut, like there's technical guys that are like, he's a little sloppy on numbers. Live recordings, like, you know, but like, bro, like he just transforming like Beyonce over top of like, like Come On Eileen or whatever. I was like, nobody was doing that shit that good, like at the time. So like, I just feel like he's always been like a dude that like will forever be like on my top
for sure
list because he did so much for us. Like we benefited from him taking those fucking risks.
We did.
Like, at Palms, he's fucking playing rock shit. Like, I don't remember anyone else really going balls to the wall like that, like being risky with their song choice like that. At the time.
When we got our money up, Never, in Vegas, it was like, yo, like, we need to get our money up. They're like, why? I'm like, AM just signed $1 million deal. Yeah. We're doing the same, almost the equivalent rooms to him, and you're making. They're like, fine, we'll give you a raise. And it was like, Never, Never got a raise. I got a raise, and it just trickled down.
And then, like, in the Dexstar thing, like, everyone that got tied to that was AM's agency. Like, to this day, those are still, like, dudes that are, like, hold so much weight in the community and in their own ways. Like, some of them, like, backed off and are doing, like, more private stuff. But, like, in my mind, like, I can remember coming out here as, like, a young bull, like, and, like, Spider's playing out here, and I'm like, Spider, like, he's tied to Dexstar. Like, we never met. But we, Crooklyn Clan helped, or my edits helped me facilitate that relationship, like, and that's continued. So it's like I feel like I owe so much to, like, that time period, and, like,
for sure.
And I'm not trying to shit on, like, Crooklyn Clan because it kind of went sour.
I don't think you're shit. I mean, we haven't even heard about what happened. So, like, wait, let's go back.
Okay.
But shout to AM, like, it was just, that was a great period, man.
Yeah.
But, like, Crooklyn Clan, it was going well for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then,
or a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 years, and then what started changing? You said, like, labels were starting to purchase more of.
No, so, like, now, so I equate it to, like, nowadays where, like whatever, Jay-Z drops an album, and, like, the label's like, okay, well, first week we got to hit, like, 200,000 units.
Yeah.
And so, like, they'll buy their own fucking product, right?
Or they'll pay people to
buy it,
to listen and stream it, or whatever. Yeah.
So it's like rigging it. Well, at the time, like,
they'll fake numbers.
So, like, all of us were only doing, like, 2 or 3 things a week, and I liked it at that time when it was in like the golden era, because, like, it'd be like me, like Ferrugio, like whoever else, like, that was on there killing it. Nova, he's out here now, and, like, whoever else was on there, like, mad people, like, doing good shit. But it was like everything we put out, we put a week of time into, and, like, it was like, okay, Scooter did 2, like, this guy did 2, like, and you're like, yep, you wanted it all. But then at a point, like, we were noticing, like, holy shit, this dude did, like, 10 edits this week. Like, how? That's impossible. Like, so it was like, okay, it's like some people started hiring, like, helpers, and then it was like, it became, like, quantity over quantity, because they realized, like, okay, if I can just push all this shit out, I'll automatically have a better chance to get up the charts, which means I get a better payout on our backside for the artist. And then,
like, flooding the market.
Yes, and then that fucked up the whole thing, because now it's like, if everyone else is still like, we're making quality shit, and, like, someone else is like, fuck you, I'm doing quantity. Just to compete, what would happen is, like, you put out so much shit, and if you put it out on Monday, like, your shit used to be, like, 2 tracks by me, 2 tracks whatever, like, by the end of the fucking day, if you got released on the same day that dude put out 15, your shit wouldn't even be on the front page. So you'd be on, like, the back side of the page, like, you have to go to page 2, page 3. So naturally, like, people aren't digging that hard. They're just gonna not buy your shit. So, like, we also noticed some shit was, like, Wax started being, like, number one. We're like, this is terrible. It's out of key. Like, how is this happening? And it was like, we caught wind, like, someone was, like, admitted to, like, spending, like, X number of dollars a month to, like, it back into their own shit. They would lose half their money, but then you get it half of it back.
Get more eyes on it.
And then if you got a better payout because you were higher up on the chart, you would then recoup that money. Plus, if you spend enough on your own shit. And as editors, we felt like that was, like, out of bounds, because it's like, we're busting our ass, like, trying to make quality shit, and like, a couple of us who had been on the website.
That's what happens, though. Like, people figure out how to rig the system, right?
Right. So, like, it got brought up, and it was, like, met with deaf ears. Like, it was listened to, but then it became, like, a thing where, like, nothing was changing, and, like, it got all the way fucked up, and, like, eventually, like, some people just left, and people didn't even notice that people were left. Like, some people got hired by other places, and, like, it wasn't even, like, known. And then I put something out, and it ended up being blown up somewhere else, and, like, that started the conversation with, like, it was like, yo, bro, like, I've been telling you, like, it's just not right, you know. And if it's like, if that's the stance that's gonna be, like, you know, that we should just part ways, like. And then I got put on somewhere else, but, like, it was it sucked, because, like, I felt like I loved that site, and, like, everyone that I met because we were on like the same team, like the same squad. So like I felt like it
should have kept going. It should have been like a DJ billboard for us, right?
Yeah, and like, and you know, the parties involved, like one person's very upfront with their opinions, and the other person is like more of like in the background and like more like OG in like the hip hop community stuff.
You're talking about Riz.
Yeah,
Riz.
Like, and shout out to them too. Like, still like dope. Always treated me like
we love Riz.
Yeah. And so, but there was just like a disconnect there with like, it felt like.
I mean, Riz and Scissorhands are like polar opposites.
Like night and day.
Yeah, night and day.
Right.
Literally.
So like most of the decisions were getting made like by mostly one of the parties, and like it just was like, okay, well, if that's the way it's going to be, I was like, didn't know. I'm like, feels like you're losing cause, because then they started like changing the pay structures. Like tracks weren't $3.99 anymore. It was $1.99. So like everything was going the wrong direction. Like, and it felt like it was motherfuckers on that site that had no business being on there. There was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, found him on like MySpace. Like, I don't know. It's like, bro, like,
it's funny though.
It used to be 25 of us that like all gave a fuck and we're doing dope shit. And now it's like, don't know who the fuck that is. He's making out of key mashups every week. Don't know who the fuck that is. Like, he fucking sucks. His mastering's terrible. Like, this is garbage. Like, why the fuck are you? It's like, it became like untenable, and I felt like it was hurting me more like at some point. Then
did they not care because the money was good either way, or?
But yeah, because like it's like if you're the label, like if they're the label figure in that, like they don't care, like
they're making money either way.
Like it was getting distributed differently, like it was going for $3.99, whatever it was, like. But if as long as it was, they're still making the money. They like. The stance eventually like got to the point where it was like it happens, like it was
the problem is that they lost all their key creators, right? Because they weren't setting
in retrospect that's what happened.
They lost all their key creators.
It was like I was like I owed so much to them, so it like hurt my feelings legit, because I was like, yo, like I thought we were all like a team, like ride or die, so it was like a lesson for me to like, you know. And then you had the whole backstory on with like why that. I felt like those three they still should be making shit tons of money together. Like,
yeah, Crooklyn Clan and Fat Man Scoop.
Bro, it should be like legacy. Like fucking Jodeci and all these people are still touring, making money. Like they should have been doing new shit now. Like they should be doing TikToks and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just weird that like it went the way it went. It's like sad.
It's just a testament though. If you look at anything great, right, it never lasts forever.
Yeah,
there's always a period where it's.
But like New Edition got back together, and in my mind, when I could tell there was like tension there, I was always like trying to mediate between, as like I know both, even though like they have a longer history. I was always like, yo, like
you're trying to keep New Edition together, or
no, yeah, Scoop, yeah.
I was about to say,
I was like, Bobby, lay off the hard shit. The group needs you.
I'm like, we didn't see that in the bio.
Yeah. I was like,
you wasn't in that show.
Yeah. He kept New Edition together.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I should have mentioned that on my press kit.
No. Like I completely like I agree. It's just like everything ends. You know what I mean? But it's also interesting because if Scissorhands or Riz or whoever was operating the site, if they just made a slight adjustment, it would have kept going.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting about business that I always look. It's like making those slight adjustments, like for the creatives.
And it could be, it's like it does.
Especially
it could be window dressing. Like it happens in nightlife. Like a place will like flip 5 years in a different name, and like to us, like you're like, I played this room for 6 years. Like they really didn't change much. There's blue lights instead of gold, but like everyone's like, yo, this new spot. It's like that same shit. Like it could have been minor, but like
if you're a platform, right?
Yeah.
And your platform's built by creators and it's built on creators creating.
Yeah.
You have to like at some point you have to
stay up on the times that's like evolving.
Well, you have to also make sure that they're happy, right? Like especially for majority of them, and the more.
And it did, to be honest with you, like I tell people this all the time. Like if I'm having like a bad day, or like, you know, there's a death in the family, or like whatever it is, like I can't just like show up to work like in my home studio and like go down and make awesome shit. Like it affects me emotionally, and like in your brain, like it doesn't work. It's not like I have a job where I'm like stamping license plates and like you're like, fuck, I'm sad today. Like my dog got hit by a car, but you can still go into work and stamp your license plates. Like I can't be good at music if I'm depressed, or the vibe is wrong, or like you hate your employer, or like you feel like you're being forced to do shit you don't want to do. Like it's just like it started feeling. The vibes were starting for a lot of that shit, and I just feel like it eventually got to people like.
So because of that, what happened at Crooklyn Clan?
Yeah.
You guys were literally independents, almost like independent, like on a Koch label, right?
Yeah,
Sounds like it, yeah.
Right.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, everyone left Crooklyn Clan, and then they soldiered up, and like armied up with the record pools.
yeah,
right?
which were like they were like fledgling, like the one I work for now had been around since '99, but they were on wax, and then like
I mean, you can say that you were on DMS now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, so when you left Crooklyn Clan, where did you go?
to them.
You went to DMS.
Yeah, and like Kevin Scott, who's like one of Am's best friends.
I love Kevin Scott.
Yeah. So him and War and
Scott.
Peace are owners, and they
Love War and Peace too.
I developed a relationship with them organically just from like being me, like over the
course.
years, and they were always just like Kevin was like a big brother I never had. Like when I'd be out in Vegas, like he'd invite us out for like outings, even though I didn't work for him.
Did you go to his what was his
No.
famous-
His
pool party?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
His barbecue? What was that?
His yearly pool party. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Was it like 4th of July or some shit?
I don't know. They did it once a year though. I heard it was like a big deal.
Yeah, motherfuckers used to show up in limos.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
It was like the Stooge birthday party before there was one. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so like he was just always like he would give me good advice like on industry,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because he had been around the block, and he was like right next to AM through that whole thing. So this was like post AM, but like he was very knowledgeable about the whole scene, and like he would just like give me good advice. And then when he found out that shit happened like that, he was just like, "Yo, don't trip, I got you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like he's like, just like for the next 2 months, like just make some shit. We'll figure it out, and like we'll
Right.
figure out how we're gonna announce it. And I was like, "What?" Like he like the first week he like, and I was like, that was insane. Like that he stepped up like that, just like on some like, "Yo, I got you. Like you're a good dude. Like you make good shit. Like we'll figure it out." Like
It's dope.
and I'm forever indebted to him and Warren for that too. Like I owe a lot of people shit because they looked at me out, and so like I appreciate the fucking hell out of those dudes. Like
That's why it's important to always be like around good people and crew.
yeah,
Like in the end of it all, like you have to be around crew. If Crooklyn Clan at the time .net operated like a crew, they would have maybe still been around if they were looking out for their creatives. But I just find it interesting that they were killing it so hard.
Yeah.
This one slight adjustment.
yeah,
I feel like it was kind of a slight adjustment.
yeah. And
That
to us, it felt like
Because it was like someone was fucking with the algorithm, and they had to just been like, yo, like, let's just make it a fair algorithm. What you're doing is not right. Even though we're making money.
it's like if you own a fucking dairy farm and like something starts fucking up like the cow's ability to produce milk,
Right.
and like the cows are like, yo, like this something's off, and we've been telling you this shit for like a couple months or years, and you're like, I don't care, like I'm gonna go get this animal and they like take the goat milk instead and mix it in. You'll be like, this shit's fucked up. Like it's like, well, I'm still making the same cow money. It's kind of is like, yo, bro, like eventually, like we're not gonna make milk no more. Like we don't want to make no milk. Like
Right.
it was like if you put it in that analogy, it's like that's the type of shit was going on. We're like,
But then everyone went to a record pool.
but like
pretty
it was
much,
like
right?
one like DeVille got hired by Club Killers first, and then Danny left, and then I was third, and then Beat Breaker went to
Was it Danny Diggs?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then Beat Breaker went to another headliner.
Yeah, HMC.
Yeah. And Anthem Kings went to DJ City eventually. I'm trying to remember how it went. But
I forgot they was all on Crooklyn Clan first.
Yeah.
bro,
Damn,
like
man.
at a time, I'm telling you, like the people that are in Serato still now, we were all on that shit. Like it was like 20 of like the dopest, like that's what I meant. It was like, it was good. It was a good crew because we pushed each other too. Like,
Fucking dream team, bro.
yeah. And it was like, it just felt sad that it had to go like that. It's like,
And then everyone split ways.
Yeah.
And then everyone went to
and
their
now
own
there's this-
record pool.
and now it's stupid because like I'm speaking of my situation, like I'm super happy, but like it sucks because like there's this like also sometimes I feel like a feeded internet fake rivalry with record pools now, and I'm like, to me, I'm like, bro, like he was on the site, or like I know these guys forever, like I hate that shit. Like I always big up. I'm not
Is there? I haven't noticed it. Has there?
It's like perceived, or like some people like it just gets funny. Like some looks don't happen at certain places, and it's like, oh, okay, like I get it. Like it's because like
I feel like
you play on that team.
I feel like one record pool started the bad shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it just like publicly made it like
no. I feel like everybody kind of like got along, and there was this silent kind of like respect for each other, but everyone kind of moved quiet. And then there was one record pool that just kind of like, they were just loud, and then they were just kind of creating like all kind of
unnecessary noise.
Yeah, causing like static and shit. And I think they actually ultimately fucked up a lot of the game.
Yep. It's
not intentionally,
no,
but
stupidity or like naivety.
They made like unnecessary eyes start looking.
Well, it's just I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I mean, like basically, you know, it only takes one person to kind of
bad apple
to kind of fuck the whole thing.
Michael was ahead of his time with that one.
But no, I mean, there was always like a coolness. Everyone kind of got along, and
yeah.
But
and to me, like here's the thing too. Like I feel like I don't do as much like stuff in certain areas because of that. Like, and because I'm not in people's faces because of geographic. Sometimes like it's different too. But before, I'm always like, yo, like you do dope shit. I love giving people props. Like there's no hate in my heart unless it's like directed at me first. And then I'll be like, you shit's out of key always anyway, but fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, I'm just always like about making friends and like, and bigging people up and like building the community and helping people out. Like, I just hate that there's like drama and shit that goes on with that stuff. Like created or perceived, like, you know what I mean? Like it sucks that that's where it's at, but now it's almost like, it's like the NBA. It's like, all right, we're getting Kevin Durant of editors. Like, oh no, we got to get this. It's like fucking crazy. Like sometimes I'm like, bro, I've known him forever. Like we're good. Like, but it's like this. It's like the younger generation too. Be like, did you see like Philly signed James Harden? It's like, yo, like this record pool just like. Blah,
That's
blah,
interesting. I've never noticed that, but I guess.
So to people, people that like, if you like you said, like, bro, like download your edit first. Like if you're somebody who's just a user, and I'm like, guys, I'm leaving my situation and taking my towns to wherever. You'd be like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you know, in the DJ community, like some people see it like that. Like it's stupid to like older people. Like it's not that serious. Like, but people that are like loyal downloaders of the music, like,
right,
fuck with you. I'd be like, well, I've been subscribing to this place for 10 years. Like now I guess I'm going to cancel, like, cause you can only get your shit there. Like, it matters to some people, I guess. Like it's kind of turned into that. Like,
really, I haven't noticed it. Where's it?
It's just weird. Like,
where do you see it? Where do you feel it going on? Cause I haven't
just with like,
maybe it's more of an editor's thing, huh?
Yeah.
Between you guys.
Yeah.
I don't see that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like some people have like all the time in like DJ forums, like on Facebook, or like people be like, I currently have this record pool and this record pool, but I'm looking for this. Like, what do you guys suggest? And then there'll be 1,000 comments and people put their opinions in. And sometimes like you just read them and it's like, okay, like a lot of the comments are this. And then they'd say, this is why. It's like because of this one person, or sometimes it's like that, or sometimes it's like they have more house, or like,
right,
it's more consistent for my gigs because I do a lot of open format with the spice of this. Like, you know, it's like everyone's relative for everybody else, but like some of the comments are similar and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that was a thing. Like,
it's funny, like I speak with DJs and some of them are like, yeah, I don't want to subscribe to like 4 record pools. And I'm like, well, why not? Like, I don't understand. If you're making $5K or $3K a month and your monthly, I don't know, expense is like $120 or $150 for music, I don't really see that as like a high.
And that seems cheap because we used to buy records for $30. 2 of them, like for $30 a piece or whatever. It's like,
what was your monthly record expense every month? Do you remember? Like
I feel like I would spend like at least between $50 and $100 every weekend on records.
50 what?
Between $50 and $100 a weekend on records.
It was average.
So maybe like between $500 a month.
Yeah,
400 or 500.
It used to be, for me, it was, well, and this is the tough thing, is when you're first starting, you have to buy more records.
Yeah.
So like for me in the beginning, it was like 800 to 1,000. So basically like almost all my pay when I worked was the records.
And also, we used to go to like record conventions to buy the older music because it wasn't available.
You couldn't even find it.
Yeah, so you had to go to those conventions to get the original copy. And they would go for like maybe $30, $40, something like that. So
I think everyone averaged around 600 a month.
That sounds
I
right.
lucked out in some ways because, like I said, I interned at the radio station like 18, and I was like, they would send the PD like stacks of vinyl. So I remember like, I think I still have like 4 or 5 copies of like Olivia and 50 Cent because like they would come in the mail and they were like old white guys that worked there, and I was like the DJ and only one that came. They would sit in the corner of the PD's office like up to the ceiling. I'm like, does anybody want these? Like, it would just like month after month. They'd be like, no. I'm like, yo, like I saved some money. Like, but I went back, I was cleaning shit out. Like, why do I have 3 copies of Jessica Simpson single? Like, it just, it would like be in it came from like wherever the label, and it would just be I'd take them all and I just would like hoard it because like, it's free.
Yeah. There was a tweet recently I saw, and they're like, yo, like you guys don't understand how much expenses the DJ has. We have the Uber, we have the record pool, we have this, we have that. And I'm like, dude, that's nothing compared to like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's really like, I'm not saying that motherfuckers should pay you less. Like, you should be making more, obviously. But the amount of expenses that you guys had, like, we had to buy calzone cases, needles, vinyl cleaner, cabs. It was like insane.
There was no Uber. We had to pay for a
cab.
And then if you had to travel, you had to like pay for those vinyl to get shipped.
Yeah.
So that would be like,
I mean, I hate to be the old
$30-40.
dude like in my day.
I know,
like that,
but like that's another part of like where we started the conversation with it. Like, it's so easy to jump in now. Like, I feel like it helped weed out. If you had to actually give a fuck and spend a lot of money to fucking care to like jump in now, like, because that's a lot of money to spend on records every month. Like, and some people are like, no, fuck that, it's too much money. Like back then, and I don't feel like carrying crates. It hurts my back. Like, cool, you do your little dumb DJ hobby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you had to care. Like it's fucking on my back. Like, I gotta carry these crates and everything. You had to care about it. So it's like that's another thing that's different now. It's easier to jump in, and that sounds real old of us to say, but like,
all around the best record pool is still DJ City, of course.
Ta-da.
And Beat Source. End of conversation. Thank you for coming.
all right,
All in the video.
No, you know, I'm glad.
Shout out to like fucking the whole crew over there, Quickie and Phenom, and like, bro, like that, the whole thing that like, I've known those guys forever. Like, it's there's no hate.
Yeah. It's always been good. Look, we've always got along. It was just like,
and I'm always on that tip, like, and publicly saying that on a microphone, like, yo, there's no beef. I fucking play stuff from everybody. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't got time to make shit only for myself. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm glad we talked about that crookedclan.net because I feel like it's an error. Like, people don't really.
No, like, especially young dudes are like, they have no clue.
They have no idea about it. But it was, dude, it was like Billboard. Like, I remember that shit.
And there was no digital record pools at the time. Like, the record pools weren't online yet.
And it was global. It was just like everywhere was downloading that shit. Right?
And it was easy because it was the start of Serato. So it was easy just to bring
it was this perfect storm.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about that. I've been so curious. I was like, why did it end? What happened?
And there was like some website development shit too that didn't happen. Like, we were encouraging, like, we were noticing, like, from our standpoint, like, we've been on the site so long, so we would be like, hey, like, this isn't really user friendly, like, or little things, and like, it was always like this never followed through promise to make those changes were also like a small element. So like, it was like a couple things, but inevitably it was like, eventually, like, if your employees are not happy, like, your product will probably eventually suffer. And now, and like, that's the simple answer. Like, and that's no shade at them. Like, that was their choice, is that they own the shit. Like, I was a cog in the wheel. So like, there's no shade, like, whatever, but like, it didn't work for some of us at that point. Like, and we went somewhere else. Like,
no. I mean, I'm glad that we actually talked about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yo, Scooter, man. Yo, by the way, is there anything we should?
I think we good.
Yeah. Scooter, it was really good to have you here, man. I'm glad.
Bro.
We finally got you on. Bro.
I'm big fans of you guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, dead up. Like,
oh man,
and I love it. You always keep it real, and like, I was like, well, if I'm gonna speak candidly, this is the place to do it.
No. And the thing is, just like,
this is a long time coming. By
I think, it's good to learn, because it's just like, it's just like some of the things we're talking about. Like, it's just really about adjusting, right?
Yeah.
And thinking of everyone and being, I don't know. I love it. I love that I got to talk about the Crooklyn Clan thing though, because I thought it was.
You had like questions for a while about it?
I was talking to someone about it now, and I was just like, imagine if that existed now. It would be so huge. And it would be like our go-to, like edits are so important now. And like to see how it could have evolved with all of these young producers as well. Yeah. It would have been like a billboard for editors and DJ producers and remixers. And it would have been huge.
Yeah, they started a subsidiary on the same site. If you remember, like a separate tab. It was house only. It was called Rated H. So they like were kind of like when house started happening. That was like smart, but like that it was all the same ecosystem. So it didn't work for the same, you know. Yeah.
And I want to also tell you, like, yo, thank you for like decades of just editing and just making great shit. You know, everything from like. You know, even recently, like, you know, the ABBA remix or edit you did for Dancing Queen. It's really just perfect and it's great. And it's like even, there's one that I play, like the Blink 182, All the Small Things. Yeah. You got a lot of love for the Miley Cyrus Can't Stop remix that you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like cool. I like that beat too, like that I put in it. It worked. It was an idea in my head, but it's also like a small Philly ode because of the Young Gunners. Like, you know, there's a small Philly like ode to that, which it was like happy accident. So
yeah, but that was big too. Like she performed, Miley Cyrus performed.
Yeah, and it was short. Like it was a short.
It was like remix portion.
Yeah, but I was like, yo, like
it was on MTV.
That's wild. That's wild.
It was MTV Music Awards.
Yeah, and
that's crazy. I came from radio, and it was probably extremely rare or even unheard of at the time that a remixer was getting his version played over the original on radio. Yeah. So that was like a huge deal. When I would go to the station and I would see your remix in the system, I'm like, oh, I'm playing this every time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now like it was funny because and I love you guys. Thank you so much for that. The Super Bowl happened, and I think Bruno did the Super Bowl like 15 or 16. What year was that? Maybe 14. And he did a cool version, and I think the music director was BBE, which is like a Philly based, like he does like program director for like all the major artists now. He did Jay-Z, he did Super Bowl this year, but they did like stops, like it was like this dramatic version with like orchestra hits, and I like remade it. And now every year that the Super Bowl performance, like Super Bowl Sunday, I had like 80 messages from DJs like, when are you doing edits from the Super Bowl, like recreating Snoop, like all that stuff they did. So like now I'm like that go-to guy for people because I did like in the club, I did it exactly how they did it, but made it like DJ form, like long form. So
that's crazy.
Like Secure, I did Hips Don't Lie like 2 years ago with J-Lo, the Jenny from the Block, but with the Fat Joe parts, and like I sit there with the fucking audio and like recreate it, but for us. And they're like, yo, this shit, like DJs like are now like, I become that guy, which is like another weird niche thing to happen. But my phone was like blowing up. And I'm like, okay, God, like I got to do this.
I mean, doing the I'm mad at you one. I like the piano riffs on that. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, no, that it's still, I need to do the Kendrick part, but I need to figure out a way to make it like long form. Like that was the hardest thing. Like making in the club, like they only did like 45 seconds of it, but like it's like verbatim the way it was happening. So a lot of DJs are like, that's a dope edit. Like now I'm like the nerdy dude that's like getting hit up to do Super Bowl edits.
I mean, yo, man, editors like are the backbone for like DJs, even more so now. And like there's so many times where you know, editors just lace all the DJs up for free. And I feel like you guys don't get enough credit sometimes, but like, yo, I want to tell you thank you, like for decades of just
yeah, man, thank you, Scooter.
For real.
I'm blushing, like I just get embarrassed about that shit. But it's really hard for me because like I still don't. That's never old. Like never get old hearing that. I still get really embarrassed when people tell me that. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, man, like fuck, man. Thank you very much, man.
No, thank you for having me.
For real, thank
you. Appreciate you guys.
Shout out to Scooter, man.
Thank you.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.